What's up, guys? Your boy Mikey Garcia. Just want to recommend the Fat Attack Stack. Help you increase your stamina, increase your endurance, increase your energy levels, and also burn fat. So don't forget the Fat Attack Stack by Snack.
All right, we're going to start off with the fighters. I'll start off with you, Vitor, to my left. When you got the call to sign on the dotted line to fight Oscar De La Hoya on Saturday, September 11th, what went through your mind?
Legacy. First thing came into my mind is legacy. Legacy is something that you live not for only for you, but for the next generation. And I believe, as soon as I heard that, I said, this is the most important fight that I will have in my career. It's fighting, I call him the prophet of boxing. He opened the Red Sea of his sport. I opened the Red Sea of my sport. It's literally colliding. It's going to be a war, like Ryan said. It's a real fight. We're not here to dance. Both of us, we have history of being a knockout artist, and we're looking to bring the fight. And this is going to be the fight that we're not looking to sell tickets, we're looking to break records. And Oscar, with all the respect, he's looking not for easy opponents. He's jumping in with the fierce man in MMA history when talking about knockouts.
Well, for you, Oscar, to my right, the golden boy himself, back inside the ring after nearly 13 years. You could have had various opponents, but instead, you decided to take on a guy who's naturally bigger than you in a different world of combat sports. Why did you decide to select Vitor Belfort?
Well, I've always been in challenges all my life. I've been fighting all my life, basically since I was 5 years old. So I've had every challenge in the book. I've fought the very best, from Pacquiao to Mayweather to Hopkins to Julio Cesar Chavez. I wanted a different challenge, a challenge that's going to take my mentality, my training to a whole new level. I'm facing a guy who is a light heavyweight champion of the world, and that to me is a real challenge. The fact that he's a striker, the fact that he has the most knockouts in UFC history, I have to adjust to his style as well. There's one thing about boxers having a different style than UFC fighters, but there's also one thing about UFC fighters having a different style than boxers. We have to adjust, and it's not going to be easy, because I only have 7 weeks left to adjust to that style. So that's a challenge for me, and I've always been one to take on the very best, and Vitor Belfort obviously is considered the very best.
You were very adamant about this fight not being an exhibition. This is a real fight. This is going to count on both of your professional boxing records. Why were you so adamant about making sure this was a real fight? It'll be contested over the course of 8 rounds.
Well, this is not a game. We don't play boxing. We don't play UFC. We don't play MMA. I literally said, look, if we're gonna do this, let's do it for reals. Let's not do this song and dance. Let's not do these exhibitions, that we're tired of. This is the real thing. And the fact that Belfort feels great. I mean, look at him. I feel amazing. I feel literally better than ever. And the fact that we both agree that it's going to be a real fight, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I have no shit to talk about Belfort whatsoever. I respect you, brother. Like there's no tomorrow. But I'll tell you one thing, we're going to kick the shit out of each other. That's one thing for sure. And that's what I'm actually looking forward to. Call me crazy, but I'm looking forward to it, I missed that getting hit. For some strange reason, I miss getting hit. So, come September 11th, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Vitor, I know you have a lot of respect for Oscar De La Hoya, but I want to read off a quote that you had in an interview regarding Oscar. when it came to the fact that this is going to be a real pro fight, you said, I hope I don't end up killing him, but everything is on the table. I'd like for you to explain those comments.
It's simple. When a Navy SEAL go overseas, he's having joy in what he does. If he doesn't have joy in what he does, he can come back in a coffin. So it's when you step in the ring or in a combat sport, you got to have fun. Like Oscar said, you wanted to get hit. You want the war. So it's my whole life. It's been in wars, not picking opponents. And when I pick the hardest one. And I do pick the hardest one. Oscar is the best boxer of all time. So I'm coming into the sport that he's master. And I learned boxing in a different level because I have to adjust to my fight. Like I said, we have to adjust to each other. But like I said, that's my style. A lion, when he's trying to become another type of style, he loses his prey. So I have to come as a lion. And that's been my whole career. I'm like coming as that mentality. If I don't knock him out, I'm losing my family. It's everything's on the line. This is as real as it gets. It's a lot of respect for both of us. But when it comes down to that table, that moment that say, the time is on, we're gonna go after each other. So this is a generational thing, it's a legacy thing. It's bigger than it's uniting this both sport in one for all. So the best of both, we united. So I'm looking for it.
Originally, we heard the name of George St. Pierre being thrown around to potentially match up against Oscar De La Hoya. But George, I would have think, is under contract with the UFC and Dana White, and they decided that that was not what they wanted to do. Why do you feel that the UFC doesn't allow their fighters to jump into this realm, which is sort of non-competing with them, and allow them to have this opportunity, the one that you currently have on September 11th against Oscar De La Hoya on Triller Fight Club pay-per-view?
Listen, I want to give a shout to Vernon Mead and Lloyd, my agent. So it's athlete has to understand, when you sign a contract, you have to understand what you're signing for. And as a CEO, Dana is smart. He doesn't want to give to something because he knows Triller is a big threat. They know they're doing something big. So I think it's actually smart being a CEO that don't want to be part of this, because actually Triller is doing something totally different. This is disrupt the industry of combat sport. So, and I see as a positive, but also athletes has to be careful, because when you sign a contract, you got to know your value, what you're signing for, and what you in it. So, and now that people wanted to come out, but they have a contract. They cannot leave their contract. So I see that my word has more power than my signing. But when you go sign, you literally got to see your agency, your team, and see what I'm doing for. And this is what I want 10 years, 5 years from now. So I'm very glad that Triller with Ryan, they're disrupting the industry. We open a new ocean. We open the Red Sea. And right now, the ring is here, the Staples Center, in the midst of these two waters on the side. So the two greatest combat athletes are going to go after each other. So I'm so glad I'm in it.
Oscar, as I mentioned, you were so passionate about this being a real fight. I know you've called out Floyd Mayweather. You said you'd love a rematch with him. What are your thoughts on the exhibition that Floyd had with Logan Paul, and also some of the other various YouTubers and TikTokers and social media influencers that are partaking in exhibition? Is that harmful for the sport of boxing, in your opinion?
No, look, I mean, anybody who gets in the ring, you have to respect, no matter what. I strongly feel that, look, if Jake Paul or Logan Paul or if there's other YouTubers, or if they want to get in the ring, just don't let it be with legends. Don't let it be with. It's like maybe you're not ready for that yet. It becomes a circus. It becomes not real, and obviously I want no part of that. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted this fight to be a real sanctioned fight, because everybody who knows me, I've never been in a boring fight whatsoever. I go out there and fight. I leave it out on the line. And the Mayweather Logan Paul fight, unfortunately didn't turn out the way they wanted it to be turned out. But that's not us. We have too much at stake, you know. When I see Belfort, I can see his eyes, and I can see how proud he is of his legacy, and I feel that same way too. So I respect that, and that's why I can say with true honesty that yeah, we're gonna fucking beat the shit out of each other. Yes, it's gonna be a lot of fun, but that's what we love doing, you know, and that's what drives us, you know. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Oscar, another driving influence could be potentially the odds came out for this fight, and Vitor Belfort is a slight favorite. Does that surprise you? Does it anger you? Does it upset you that people believe that he's going to beat you on September 11th on Triller Fight Club pay-per-view?
I mean, I would be lying to you if I said that it does surprise me, but it doesn't. It doesn't, because I was thinking I have to figure out his punches. I have to figure out his angles. He's a strong guy, you know, and I have to figure out his style as well. So just as much time that he has to figure me out, I have to figure out him as well. So I can see why he's the favorite. I can see why people, you know, can put me as the underdog. That's fine. I've had a fucking tough life, man. I've had a rough life. But I'll tell you one thing, I'll be in the best shape of my life come September 11th. You know, people see that. People see all that stuff, you know.
Wait a minute, you said you're going to be in the best shape of your life. I mean, you had legendary encounters over the course of your 16-year career. You're telling us today that you're going to come in the best shape of your life, better than all those fights that you've had over the course of your 16-year career.
I'm training smarter. I think that's the difference, you know. When I used to train for everyone, I probably overtrained for most of my fights because I wanted to make sure that, you know, that last breath that I took in the 12th round was the one that was going to count, you know. It's like, I mean, I would fight so tense and so aggressive, and so now I'm training smarter, just doing everything right, you know. People will be surprised. I never disrespected my sport, but I always disrespected myself, you know. So this time around, it's different. The mentality is different. Everything I do is different. From when I wake up till I go to sleep, it's going to be different. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be the difference.
Vitor, you're the favorite on September 11th on pay-per-view. What are your thoughts on that, knowing that the betting public feels that you are going to defeat the Hall of Famer, the Golden Boy, Oscar de la Hoya?
I think what I'm going to say is going to shock you. The problem of the world today, they look into the odds. You know, I never look to the odds. I make my odds. I make my prediction. I decide what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to drink, and what I'm going to think. All of you guys are here and watching us. You have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. I don't care what you say. Your subconscious mind is going to dictate what you do. Your habits will follow you. We are habits human beings. It's the success in the little things. So I'm making sure that every day of my life, they ask me, Victor, are you start training? No, I live in training. I have 3 amazing athletes at my house. I create a boutique fitness where I can train with my kids, my son, my wife. So I train every day. I hit the bag every day. So it's muscle memory. You do what you think you do. So if you think in odds and you're not making your own odds, it's a frustration because we are living by other people's opinion. I make my opinion. I make my odds. I'm on September 11, I'm going to win this fight by knockout because I believe I can. Knock any man, any weight, any division, step in the I can find a way to put you out. That's my mentality.
So do you feel that you fought as high as heavyweight? You've also fought, you were the light heavyweight champion of the world, fought at 185. Oscar has fought, I think, no more than 160 over the course of his career, that being in the middleweight division. Do you think that your size is going to play a significant factor in the fight on September 11th?
My heart, not my size. The king of the jungle is the lion for a reason. He's the most courageous animal. He can go on the river full of alligators. and not scared of the alligators. He came by himself. And on that ring, me and him, we're going to be by ourselves. So fighting, it's a will sport. You can play football, you can play basketball, you cannot play boxing, you cannot play combat sport. So in my mind, I can beat any man. And that's how I thought. When I was 18 years old, I fought a guy 370 pounds. I was 185. So it's the bigger they are, easier they do fell. So it's about skills. And I know Oscar has a lot of skills, so it's all about the feet. You got to move your feet on the ring. I know he has more experience than me in the ring, so I got to match him up. I got to cut the corners. And I know he's a lefty but he's a right hand, so he has a great jab. So he's the best jab of boxing. So it's a lot of things in the mid. So it's a fun. And like I said, I'm gonna have joy when I start getting hit. I'm looking for the opening. I'm looking for the moment, and that's what defines combat sport. We're putting the best. I'm fighting with the best of all time. So could not get better than that.
Oscar, how do you combat the size difference on September 11th? He's obviously the biggest man that you've ever fought over the course of your career. Being right now, how do you handle that on September 11th?
It's just being mentally prepared, basically. Obviously, you have to do the physical work, and you get the appropriate sparring partners and guys who are heavier, who push you back, the weight. But most importantly, and I have this same mentality that Belfort has, is it's all here. It's all right here in the mind. It's the king of the jungle mentality. There's a reason why. And I strongly feel that, he can come with everything. He can come with everything. We have 8 rounds to fight. And the first one who makes a mistake is going to pay for it, And it's going to happen over and over and over again. Whether it's going to be me, whether it's going to be him, we have to be prepared 100% because, it's dangerous for both guys. It really is. It's not just dangerous for me because he's bigger, but it's dangerous for him as well because I have some skill.
Do you feel any extra pride knowing that you are fighting here? This is your backyard. This is the second time you fought here at Staples Center, but do you feel any extra sense of responsibility to defend your home turf here at Staples Center on September 11th?
No, not at all. I'm fighting for myself. I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot, man. My life hasn't been easy. It's been a big struggle, I've been fighting for everyone out there all my life, and I love it. I've been fighting for my family. I've been fighting for my mother. I've been fighting for all my fans. But this time around, I'm fighting for myself, and I can't wait to feel that inside the ring come 9/11. The fact that we're also doing it for the Independence Mexican holidays. But I just thought about how we're also doing it for 9/11. It falls on 9/11, It's special. It's a reminder. Let's fight. Let's continue fighting. So who am I doing it for? I'm doing it for myself. And that's a reminder to everybody that we must do it for ourselves.
Vitor, round of applause for Oscar de la Hoya. Vitor, you have a whole country behind you. Brazil, they love you down there. And every time you fight, it is must-see TV, especially down in your home country of Brazil. What has the response been from the Brazilian fans and also those that have watched your career over the course of 21 years?
I'm very proud to be Brazilian. Actually, I moved here, dropped 8th grade, I come to LA with a dream. And I had plan A only. Some routes, I just have to change the routes. But like I said, we don't need visa when we like each other. We don't like someone because of the skin color. The good thing about cheering on, supporting someone, I call it the identity. Today we have a big crisis. People living a life they don't living. They live a life that is not what they live. It's their lifestyle. So one of the best things I have in my life is looking for my children and they look at me and say, Dad, you're different than all of them. I say, why? Because you have the same integrity when you walk into this house and when you leave this house. You are faithful to our mother. You are faithful to yourselves. You not just don't cheat mama, you don't cheat us. And I said, I teach you, my kids, is about integrity. So I represent a lot of people from different countries. And that's the good thing about combat sport. You're representing an integrity person. It's a personal thing. When I'm cheering for someone, I want to know what he likes. What he likes is so that's the problem. When you have a double life, double agent life, you come into identity crisis. And I understand that we all deal with that. But every action that you do today is going to influence you tomorrow. Every action that you take today is going to influence your tomorrow. So I'm representing every country. I'm representing the Brazil, the Americans, the Russians, everyone. Not just me, but Oscar. We're representing not just a country. We represent a stake of what we did in the past and what we're about to do in the future. So it's going to be a legacy thing.
What would beating Oscar De La Hoya on September 11th mean to you?
Remember that it's a process. It's not going to be something that, oh, I'm surprised. No, I'm coming to this fight because I know I can. So nothing will surprise me. So when you know what you're capable to do, you just got to see it in your head first. It's seeing, believing, and achieving. So everything you see first, you believe, and then you go and put it into action.
Oscar, have you thought about the emotions you're going to feel like when you make that ring walk and this place is packed at Staples Center and you're making that long walk that you've made so many times over the course of your career after over a decade being away from the ring? Have you sort of had a thought process behind what that is going to feel like? The emotions, the energy, the excitement, the nerves?
No, I mean, you can't really feel that until you're there, you know. I know it's going to be different than all my other fights because I was fighting for the wrong reason. Yeah, this one's going to be special. It's going to be one for the ages. Yeah, just walking into this room, I couldn't hold myself and I got stupid emotional, you know. Yeah, it's gonna be different.
Assuming all goes well on September 11th, is this the return of Oscar De La Hoya? I've read comments that you said that 2 fights and then I have no problem fighting Canelo Alvarez.
I will never disrespect, the fighter I have in front of me. You know, never have all my life. No matter who it was, because inside this ring, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. You never know. You get knocked out. You lose, whatever. Plans change. So, yeah, do I have a plan, a long-term plan, a short-term plan? Yes, it's nice to prepare, but it's never nice to disrespect. So, I'm gonna do what I have to do in order to take myself to that next one, to the next level, and challenge myself and continue to face the toughest challenges in my life. Yes, do I want to fight Floyd again? Absolutely. Would I want to fight Canelo? Why not? If I get knocked out, I get knocked out. At least it was a fun fight. You know? That's my mentality. I love fighting for the glory is beautiful. The fans, it's beautiful. But when you love it, when you have this like deep respect for it, it's like no matter what happens, you're okay with it, you know?
Now we're going to open it up to questions from the media. If you have questions, by all means, raise your hand. But before we get to questions from the media, I want to say that sitting between these 2 legends, I love the energy. I love the passion. These 2 guys don't have to do this on September 11th. But they are doing it, and they're risking their overall well-being for the fight fans around the world and to test themselves. Why? Because they are world-class prize fighters. And on September 11th at Staples Center, you will see them test themselves against one another. If we have any questions from the media, by all means, I believe Bernie Balmarzal is around here. Raise your hand if you have questions for Oscar or for Vitor Belfort. I know a lot of you asked questions beforehand, but if not, then we will go ahead. We have a question from the media, if you go ahead, do we have an extra microphone for him? By all means, we do have a question. Let me go ahead and give him the microphone here. There we go.
Oscar, buenas tardes. ¿Cuáles son los sentimientos de estar aquí presentando una pelea real, pero a la vez viendo tu estatua ahí? Eres un peleador legendario que decide regresar después de 13 años. ¿Cuál es la sensación de presentar esta pelea frente a tu estatua?
No, pues la sensación es arriesgosa. Yo entiendo que no va a ser fácil, pero el hecho que voy a entrenar, que voy a, pues como dicen, echarle muchas ganas. Por primera vez lo voy a hacer para mí mismo. Va a ser diferente. Estoy dedicado 100%. No ha habido ninguna pelea en la historia de mi carrera en donde no esté preparado. Yo sé cómo prepararme. Yo sé cómo estar listo para un combate. Pero la diferencia va a ser la preparación inteligente. Eso va a ser la diferencia. Yo voy a estar mejor que nunca y que gane el mejor. Pero, y le digo a Belfort, le digo que no va a ser fácil. Ni para él ni para mí. Va a ser fuerte. Va a ser fuerte. Va a ser una pelea difícil. Se dice que nos vamos a catear, pero bien fuerte. Así que, nada. Llámame loco, llámame lo que sea, pero la verdad que lo extraño. Lo extraño mucho.
One more question.
Oscar, Vitor, Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV. I want to ask you, first, Oscar, I want to ask you, you come up and you talk about your history with boxing, your love of boxing. How is it that you can say that you feel like this is for you and that you don't feel like this is for boxing? Do you not feel like this is boxing versus MMA? Do you not feel like it's that type of fight?
No, it's look, it's combat sport, you know. Vitor is defending what he believes in. I'm defending what I believe in. There's been a lot of talk about MMA versus boxing. Anderson Silva just beat Julio Cesar Chavez, you know. I mean, are we 1-1? Are we 2-1? Is this challenge going to continue? What I'm just saying is that this is just a real fight. It's a fight. You know, we're not going to go dance and pity-pat each other. This is a real fight. It's not an exhibition. So it doesn't matter where he comes from. It doesn't matter where I come from. I have to adjust to his style because he is a striker. I chose him for a reason. I chose him because he's a striker. He's a fighter. And I have to adjust to that. And he has to adjust to myself as well. So, you know, I believe in just combat sport and fighting. He has the skill. I have the skill. It's going to be a fun fight.
And Vitor, I'll ask you the same question. Being such a storied UFC veteran that you are, how do you feel coming up on the edges of this fight? Do you feel like you're representing the UFC and all those that love and support MMA?
We are individual. We are representing first yourself, and then you represent others that follow what you like I said, what you represent for. So I see as a combat. For me, when we study combat, like I remember people idolize Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was more as an artist and a martial artist in Hollywood. For me, the badass guy like Oscar de la Hoya, guys that really put on the line, they have a record of being a fight, not being a movie. This is not a movie, man. This is a real fight. As real as gets. You guys talk all the hype. Our job is to go and prepare and do our best. So for me, every fight is an individual fight, and you represent your values and what you train. And that day, lights goes on, everybody has your picks, they do their betting, they enjoy. Our job is to go there and fight, and this is a combat. So we're representing a lot of things, and we're coming from a different background. But we have the same flame. We want to go out there and perform.
Final question, Vitor. Prediction September 11th. You sticking with the knockout?
Yes.
Knockout for Vitor Belfort. Oscar De La Hoya, your prediction September 11th.
Knockout.
Both of them predicting knockouts. The gold medalist, Oscar De La Hoya, against the former UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, the phenom, Vitor Belfort. It all goes down Saturday, September 11th, here at Staples Center in Los Angeles. Triller Fight Club pay-per-view. Looking forward to a historic night of boxing here in Los Angeles.